Okay, so we're live. So, hello. So we're live. So, welcome to the live Ambivert channel. My name is Brad. This is a live vlog. It's the Let's Get Inspired, and it's episode 4. Today's date is the 4th of May, 2025. In England, it's Bank Holiday Monday tomorrow. So, for those that work full time, or the work get tomorrow off and we get it paid, which is great. So that's that. So what am I going to talk about today? This is, please note, this is delivered in a let's say it's a casual kind of reflective manner. I'm just free flowing as I speak. So I'm not going to be as precise as my other videos, but I'm just going to go with the flow and have that free flowing type of conversation throughout the video. So today, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about my YouTube journey so far. Then I'm going to reflect upon the disturbing meaning of man up video that I released and reflect upon that. Then I'm going to go over the main principles of Stoicism. And then I'm going to reflect upon those principles. Release a question. I'm going to really briefly discuss my perspective on modern day slavery. I'm going to include a Q&A on that as well. Then obviously, if there's any comments or questions, I'll answer those. And lastly, I'll finish with some positive affirmations, which I'll read out and then reflect upon before ending the vlog, should we say. So let's begin. So I'm going to begin just basically, I'm just going to talk about my YouTube journey so far. I started on the 30th of December last year, just before New Year's Eve. I've been releasing, and obviously now it's the 4th of May. I've been releasing a video once a week, at least once a week, should I say, with some shorts or whatever. Obviously, I'm still learning. I'm still new. But on the positive, I've been very consistent so far with what I've released. I've got 33 subscribers as of the 4th of May, which to some people, you probably think, oh, is that it? That's not a lot. But to me, that's great. I'm making steady progress. I'm still learning. I'm an amateur at this. Obviously, I don't get paid for this. It's not like a poor me kind of situation. I'm absolutely fine with not getting paid. It's good. But I'm enjoying the journey, and I'm going to keep. Obviously, I'm still learning. I'm getting better. This is an example of this as well. Like I'm actually speaking in a free flowing manner now, and that takes, what does that take? It takes practice. Some people can do this naturally, can't they? Imagine like an extrovert or whatever. Some people can just talk and talk and talk and talk naturally. Believe it or not, I don't have that ability. As I'm not as good as others, let's say, at this. But this is something I'm working on. So it's for my own personal development as well. Of course, at some point, I will be monetized at some point, but you got to have 1,000 subscribers for that. And 4,000 watch hours within a year. I will achieve that eventually, but that's further down the way. Also, I apologize for the video quality is not the best. I'm sorry, because I've had to use my PC because I've only got 33 subscribers. I have to use a PC to do the live content. Once I get 50 subscribers, I'll be able to do my videos off my phone, and my phone has a much better camera than this PC does. So yeah, so that's that. So my YouTube journey so far has been, it's good. But obviously I do work full time. I work in a surgical theatre as a scrub nurse, and I do overtime every week. So I've only got so much time to create these videos, but I do it to the best of my ability. But I am a work in progress. So I do my best to fit it into my life. It's a hobby that I enjoy. I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm learning as I'm going through all of this process. I'm learning as I go along, which I think is an amazing thing. What else is there on the YouTube journey? Sorry, that's not the most exciting thing to talk about, but this is just me reflecting in a casual manner, so I can talk about what I want. And that's another good thing. If you do want to create your own YouTube channel, you're basically creating what you want. It's much I love. You've got artistic license to put your time and energy into things. It's far from easy. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy. And I think some people expect overnight success and they think that it's easy, and it's definitely not. And also, you should never compare yourself to these big YouTube channels, because a lot of these YouTube channels, imagine these big, massive YouTube channels, they've got millions of views, subscribers, millions of views. They're absolutely massively successful. But you've got to think they've got full teams behind them. For one, they're full-time YouTubers, and they'll have like professional lighting, professional editing team. They'll have like a team of like 5 or 6 people all working towards one goal of creating videos. But obviously, state the obvious, I'm not that. I'm just a small creator really doing this on my own. So that's that really. That's just a quick random reflection of my YouTube journey so far. So let's move on now. One moment. Let me have a quick drink. Not drinking today. I don't usually drink. I'm drinking tea. A lot of people will be drinking alcohol tonight, but not for me. Thank you. Each to their own, I suppose, but been there, done it. Not now. So anyway, we're moving on. I'm going to reflect upon a video I did, and it's called The Disturbing Meaning of Man Up video. The video did really well for me. I got over 2,000 views and I got loads of comments, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that commented, everyone that liked it, and everyone that subscribed. I really appreciate it. And I noticed some of the responses were really well thought out. They were really well articulated, and I could tell the people that have written them have put a lot of effort into them, a lot of time into what they'd written, and they were quite intelligent. They were very intelligent about what they wrote about, and it's very good, very good. What was I going to say? So basically, I'm not going to go into depth on this. If you do want to check out the video, go onto my YouTube channel and you'll see the video there, The Disturbing Meaning of Man Up video. And the basics of it is that as men, obviously, we bottle things up. We never express them. We don't express our emotions. We don't deal with our emotions very well. Maybe anger, and that's it. And it can bottle up inside. And if this goes to an extreme, think about extreme, obviously, it can lead to men having serious mental health issues. It can lead to suicide potentially, which I think is a bad thing. So my main point is not to be, I'm not trying to go down like a man should be. There's nothing, some men are basically, they're really emotional. They'll have a lot of issues, mental health issues. And I believe that they need to get help, professional help. But I'm not on about that. I'm on about just I'm not on about being overly emotional. I just want to have a little bit of emotion, starting conversations, sharing your thoughts, sharing what makes you sad, sharing what upsets you, or having confidence enough to share that with somebody. Obviously, going to make sure it's with the right person. That was my main point. Sorry, I'm not explaining that in depth today. It's just a basic one. That's what I was trying to get at, that men need to express themselves. And also the term man up can be, not always, very derogatory. Like, oh, man up, don't be soft, get on with it, you're a man, don't be weak, don't be a bitch, don't be a girl, or whatever it is that people say sometimes. And I think it's a silly term sometimes. Obviously, on the other end of the spectrum, other people did say that manning up like a stoic mindset, stoicism, should I say, saying that a man can't be emotional, they need to be stoic. And I do agree with a lot of what they're saying. I think stoicism can be very, very positive. A stoic mindset it's good. It helps you to deal with life in a lot more positive and happy way, really. So yeah, that's a good thing as well. Sorry, I'm just drinking a cup of tea here. This is just me free flowing as well. So I'm just expressing myself the best I can. But anyway, so the video did really well. I really appreciated all the comments, and I really am open to people not agreeing with what my video is discussing, and I don't take offense to that. I don't think that's such a bad thing as well. You can't have everyone agreeing with you all the time. I think people have different perspectives. And I really appreciated everyone that commented, and I answered. If you look at the video, every single time I get a comment or anything, I'll answer it the best I can within the time frame that I have. But just to clarify as well, obviously I am not I'm not a professional psychologist. I don't have a degree in that whatsoever, and I'm not a medical professional, meaning I'm not a doctor. So I'm not those things. Nor do I pretend to be or act like I do. I am a professional nurse and I work as a scrub nurse, but I'm not those other things. But I do have experiences. I think I do have experiences. I've made mistakes in my life when I was younger, especially, and I have perspectives that I can share, wisdom that I can share. Not that I know everything, because I don't, but I'm going to. That my main point of doing this YouTube journey is to share my perspectives, get people talking, get people thinking, and just try and make people's lives a little bit better. That's the aim, of course. So that's that. I'm going to finish with that one. So I'm just really. I did the video was really good. The next videos that I'm doing are going to be related to manning up. I'm going to do that for a while, not forever. And see where that goes, and hopefully build up a community. It looks like my niche, because I'm just still finding my niche. It's looking like my niche is going to be mainly men that are watching my videos. So that's my niche in a way, and dealing with mental health issues around men, and also other things as well, health related. Anything that I can think that can help people, I'm going to create videos about those types of things, but then go with the flow with it. So it's constantly evolving. Let's say the content that I'm creating. That's the intention. So the intention's good. Anyway, so that's that. So I'm going to start talking about the next thing I'm going to talk about. One moment, another a sip of tea, should I say? Sorry, I'm just going to look at a comment here. Sandra B. Hi, I'm a woman watching your videos. I find them interesting, and I like them. I can learn from them. Thank you. Oh, lovely. Thank you, Sandra. It's nice to have. Obviously, it's good that anyone can learn from these videos and this content. And some of these things cross over. You know, some of these topics will cross over, which I appreciate. So thank you. Thanks for your message, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Right. So because of one of the comments I got on my last video, basically mentioned the power of Stoicism and how it's helped him as a man. This man I'm on, this person who's subscribed to my channel, I really appreciate, by the way. He just mentioned how he had a tough life. He went to jail when he was younger. And some other like bad events happened when he was younger, and it really made him angry for a long time. But then he said Stoicism has really helped him in life, and he believes that a man shouldn't be an emotional mess all the time, and they need to be strong and dependable. Because if imagine a family unit and the man's a leader and he's crying all the time, then that's not a good thing. That was the basics of what he was saying, and I agree with loads of what he's saying, definitely. So that's what brings me on to discussing this next thing. So it's Stoicism. So the main principles of Stoicism. What's the first one? I think it's virtue. So that includes wisdom, courage, justice, and there could be something else. So I think these. So basically, wisdom, courage, and justice. And if these are followed correctly, it can lead to a happier life, a more virtuous life. I'm going to reflect. Let me reflect upon this. I suppose it's having the courage to stand up for your own beliefs. If you don't stand for anything, you stand for nothing. Having the courage to set boundaries, I suppose, it's easier said than done sometimes. It's having the courage to take things on, to get out your comfort zone. It's the courage to look at your flaws, look at yourself, be honest with yourself. A lot of people don't do that, do they? They don't. A lot of people aren't honest with themselves at all. They just pretend, they just ignore it. So I suppose it's having the courage to be the best person you can. Be brave, basically. So that's that. And then there's another one which is obviously still under the principle of virtue now. So then it's wisdom, making wise decisions. And sometimes wise decisions aren't like rocket science. You don't need to be. Sorry, I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. It's a little bit. My head's shining. That's a lot better. One moment. Sorry, drinking tea. Yeah, wisdom. Sometimes it's simple things. It's like you've got right turns. Imagine a right turn is the right thing to do, and a left turn, and the left turn could be, let's say, the wrong thing to do. And if you're making loads of left turns, you're drinking, you're not being a nice person, you're not turning up for work, you lose your job. It can have a downward. If you take too many left turns, you're calling in sick all the time. You're doing silly things all the time. It's going to affect you over time, isn't it? It's going to affect you negatively, obviously. And then having the wisdom to make the right choices, and they can set you up for when you're older. They can put you in good stead for when you're older. And I suppose another one's wisdom is, I suppose it's like, just being wise about decisions, not reacting emotionally all the time to things, being wise enough to see through things. Sorry, that's a bit. That's so and then so that basically virtue, having a virtuous life under Stoicism can lead to happiness, a more happy life. Sorry, this is just me randomly talking about these things, by the way. I'm sorry if it's not coming out as clearly and as coherently as possible, but I'm doing my best. And again, like I'm saying, I'm just delivering this in a casual manner today, casual, free-flowing manner. So next one, what's the next one? I think the next principle is accepting what you can't control. That's the one. Accepting what you can't control. So what can't you control? Well, we can't. There's always governments, isn't there? People in power, whoever's in power, we complain about, and they have policies and whatever BS they put into place. Then it affects us, and the taxes they put into place, and the list can go on. And it can be, you can talk, it's okay to talk about the government sometimes, it can be interesting, but too much of that isn't good, is it? And you can't change it. You really can't. And not as a normal person. Most of the time, you can't change what the government are going to do. You can't really change the fact that they're going to tax you more. The utility bills have gone up. You've just got to make the best of it. You can't also control what other people think of you. People are going to think things about you. Definitely. People are going to judge you. Definitely. Someone down the line is not going to like you, and you could be the best person ever and they're not going to like you. And guess what? Can you control that? Not really. Not always. Sometimes you might be able to, but no, you can't a lot of the time. And a lot of people, they get bent out of shape, don't they? They get upset about things they can't control. It's like expecting, I'm not working on Saturday. I want it to be sunny, and then it's raining. It's raining, and then you just complain about it all day. But the fact is, it's tough shit. It's going to rain all day. It's tough. You can't control the weather, obviously, unless you do a rain dance or something weird. I don't think that will work. So yeah, there's no point. You've got to basically accept the things. Once you accept something, so I accept the fact that the government are going to tax me more or whatever it is. It makes you feel less angry about it, let's say, and you're just accepting it and you're getting on with it. It is what it is, and we are where we are, kind of thinking. And again, I think this, from a Stoicism perspective and a life perspective, that's a really good principle, isn't it? Amazing. Everyone could live to that principle. So moving on. So what's the next one? So we've obviously, what we covered, sorry. Accepting what you can't control, which I've just discussed. But so that's going to lead on to what's that going to lead on to? That's going to lead on to focusing on what you can control. What can you control? You can definitely control your own thoughts if you put your mind to it. Sometimes your thoughts will run away with you, of course, that's natural, but you can control them if you're self-aware enough. That's the beauty of self-awareness, by the way, which a lot of people aren't, I don't think, sadly. You can control your thoughts, and also, again, it's easier said than done. You can control if you control your thoughts, you control your feelings. You control. It's hard sometimes when the feeling's really strong. It's difficult then, but you can control your feelings if you put your mind to it. How would you do that? Someone says something rude to you, and instead of getting angry and upset, you go, do you know what? You choose not to get upset. You choose to rise above it. You choose not to be offended. And what else can you control? You can control what decisions you make. You can control. There's so much more to this than I'm explaining, obviously, but you can focus on things you can control. I can, if I want to, I can go to the gym. I can go to the gym and I can make myself fitter. I can, if I want, I could potentially learn a course. I could go to college if I put my mind to it. I could get that other job if I put my mind to it. You can control those things. It does take time, of course, but you can control these things. So it's just basically, I know these things we all know, I think, internally, but we forget them. Just focus on what you can control and forget the rest of it. That's the basics of it. So that's that principle out the way. I'm trying to think which the next one is. Oh, what's it called? Living in accordance with nature. This principle, if I'm honest, I'm trying to think what to reflect upon about it, and I don't have a lot to say on it. I need to probably do a bit of reading on that one. One moment. So basically, I think it's more like accept. I suppose as a human race, are we living in accordance with nature? We're definitely not. We're failing with that. We're completely ruining nature. And this might be going off on a tangent a little bit, but when the world is ready, it will. We think we control everything. Humans run the world, whatever you want to call it. We think we've got all the. We think we've got all the knowledge. We think we've got all the power, and maybe we do to an extent. And we think we can change nature. We can play God even sometimes. But the reality is, Mother Nature always wins every single time. And when Mother Nature is ready, in my opinion, it'll just sneeze us off as a human race. Probably not before our lifetimes, but it'll sneeze us off, and that'll be it. Game over. And the Earth will continue. And the Earth has continued long before we were around. So yeah, I don't know what to say about living in accordance with nature. I suppose it's you can do it from an individual point. It's like respecting nature, not doing your best not to cause too much damage to it. Respecting it, really. Respect animals. Respect. I don't know. If anyone's got any thoughts or comments on that, please share. Okay, so just going off on a tangent, by the way. So that's that principle over with. I'm going to carry on anyway. So next, then that's my thoughts on living in accordance with nature as a Stoic principle. Please comment below if you've got anything else to add to that. I think I'm a little bit iffy with that. So I'm going to move on to the next principle. It is gratitude and appreciation. So that obviously, that's a great one. I think it's just appreciating what you have, appreciating that fact that you're healthy, being grateful for people who you've got around you, being grateful for the life that you have. And these can be simple things, just the ability. Imagine the abilities to walk, the ability to see, the fact that you could be grateful, the fact that you even have a job, because some people don't have a job, the fact that you're living in a country that there's no wars. Massive things to be grateful of, and I forget these things big time. I'm only just bringing them to my mind now. And I also believe that when you are in that very moment, when you are grateful, when you're thinking of things that you're grateful for, and you're showing gratitude in that moment, I don't think you can feel bad at that moment when you're being grateful for things. And I also believe in the law of attraction. So once you start to focus on what you're grateful for, I believe you're going to get more of that in life. And I think it just really, it's a massive one, that as a principle. And I think everybody knows this, I think, deep down, but we do forget it because we get into the hustle and bustle of life or whatever. But yeah, gratitude and appreciation, big, massive thing that you should really apply daily. I know people that just complain. I work with people that complain all day long, man. And that's all they do. And then they don't do anything to change it. I'm thinking it's really sad. It's just negative. And there's nothing wrong with a little bit of negative. Let's be real. It's good to vent and get it off your chest. And it's okay to be annoyed. It's okay to point things out that piss you off. But I think if you go on and on and on about it all the time, it's not a very fulfilling life, is it? Really, it's not good. It's not good for you. Anyway, so gratitude and appreciation. I really like that one as a Stoic principle. Amazing. And just to think this was done, Stoic principles were this was thousands of years ago when these principles were created. Just goes to show that in the ancient world, thousands of years ago, they had a lot of wisdom then, and maybe it's been lost in modern times. Not completely lost, obviously, because I'm talking about it now, but a lot of society is not really getting all of these things, are they, sadly? But you can only change what you can change. So anyway, moving on. So the next Stoic principle is moral responsibility. And what does that mean? Let me just one moment. Sorry, just drinking. Moral responsibility, it's basically acting with integrity, being conscientious, responsible, basically, for your own actions. And a lot of people, guess what they don't do? They're not responsible for their own actions, are they? They blame everyone else. It's never their fault. They'll act in ways that are piss poor. They'll be toxic. They'll be annoying. There'll be nasty people out there. And then when they get it pointed out to them, they play victim. Basically, weak people. It's not good. I think it's important to act with integrity. You're not always going to get this perfect because you're human, obviously. You're going to make mistakes, but it's owning those mistakes. And the beauty of owning, sometimes it hurts though, when you make a mistake, especially if it's like something really simple. Sorry, I'm just going to move my chair a little bit. You make a mistake, you drop the ball, you fuck up, and it makes you, does it feel good? No, it doesn't feel good. It feels bad. It's not meant to feel good. But if you own it, you go, do you know what? That's my fault. I'm owning it. And then that helps you to learn, doesn't it? You're going to learn. You learn. You don't make mistakes. The mistakes make you kind of thinking. And that's how you learn. And the price that these people pay that don't, they don't learn from the mistakes because they don't make them. They blame somebody else, don't they? Some people, it's never their fault. They're not in the wrong. They've not created their own mess, because a lot of the time they have. Not always, obviously, but they never learn. And then all they do is keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again. So that's sad, in my opinion. That's sad. So yeah, having that moral responsibility, having that moral fiber as well. I think society really needs more of this, man. This is we've actually a little bit of an epiphany here. I'm only doing my small bit, obviously. Maybe no one even sees this video. Maybe they don't. Maybe they do. But some people are going to see some of my content, and then I feel like I've got a moral responsibility to the world and to whoever watches it, whoever resonates with any of this, to like try and just remind people or inspire people to have that moral fiber, to have that integrity, to be better people, and therefore create better communities. And we can all do our tiny little bit to make the world a little bit better. I know that's being idealistic. And is everyone going to do it? No, because most people won't, because a lot of people lack morals, sadly, especially in today's age. But I hope to combat that via doing what I'm doing. So yeah. Okay, so how many have I done there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 I've done. I think the 7 principles. last one is emotional regulation. So emotional regulation is the last principle, Stoic principle I'm going to talk about. So that's controlling your emotions, recognizing the source of your emotions, and then practicing self-awareness. What else is there on there? Sorry. I'm trying to think. So I'm trying to reflect upon emotional regulation. This goes back to some of my videos. Emotional regulation. It's like you've got to regulate. How do you regulate your emotions? You can't just bottle them up, man. They're not going to go away. They're just going to build up. And what do people do as well? And no disrespect to people that take antidepressants or anything like that, or anti-anxiety medication. That's a personal choice that people make. And I'm sure there's positives for that, of course. I'm not discrediting that. But imagine you've got a lot of emotional issues and all you're doing is masking them with medications. So you're not dealing with them. And this is an example, obviously. Or what do other people self-medicate with? Alcohol. Just drink. Forget all the problems. Fuck the world. I'm getting drunk. Let's just not worry about anything. Everything's good. But they've not dealt with those emotions. They're still there. They're not going anywhere. And some people deal with it with drugs. Other people deal with it with potentially people could deal with that with being promiscuous, having lots of sexual partners. What else could people do to avoid emotional regulation? They can work too much, be a workaholic, exercise. I'm going to extremes here. Obviously, these things can be work, can be good. Exercise can be good, all these things can be good, but I'm just on about people avoiding the people avoid things, emotional regulation. What else do? We go to potentially watching, going on your phone, avoiding your emotions. You're just constant distractions in it. Phone, sport, entertainment, etc. And none of these things are bad, but I'm on about when people avoid their own emotions via these distractions, drugs, alcohol, etc., which I've just said. And then that all builds up. And then they think, I'm just going to take I'm depressed, so I'm going to take some antidepressants and think that that's going to solve all their issues. And maybe it does for a short amount of time. But those emotions haven't gone anywhere. They're still there. They're building up. They're not going nowhere. They're just going to build up and get stronger and stronger and stronger. And that can really negatively affect people's lives. So this principle I think it's a big one. Thousands of years ago, they talked about it. And it's definitely still true today. Is society failing with this? On the whole, yes, society is failing with this, I believe, in the Western world. Not everybody, though. Some people are doing well. So how do you emotionally regulate? And there's lots of different ways. I'm not going to discuss all of those ways, but it's basic. What's the basics of it? It's practicing self-awareness. How do you do that? It's looking at yourself. Looking at yourself. What am I doing? Knowing, being compass mentis. Compass mentis meaning, do you know yourself? Do you look at yourself? Do you look at your flaws? Are you honest with yourself? Are you genuine with yourself? And if you are, then you can see, you know what? The way I spoke to that person yesterday, I was bang out of order. This is an example. I was horrible. I acted in an angry manner. Why did I act in an angry manner? Because they said something. Someone could say something to you, not mean to be nasty or anything, but it could be you're in Pandora's box, couldn't it? You could feel insecure about something, and that can hit your ego, and then you can react really quickly. So you're not emotionally regulated. You hurt. Your ego's hurts, so you attack. This is an example. So anyway, sorry. So that's just an example of that. So obviously self-reflecting. What else can you do to help yourself? Journaling's a good one. Even doing something like this could be potentially me talking about such and such a thing can actually help me to, in a way, it's kind of journaling done in a video form to an extent. What else can you do? You obviously journaling, you can write. Also, I think if you imagine you go onto YouTube and something's bothering you and then somebody's talking about it and you go into the comment section, this can also be help with emotional regulation. It's because you're writing about it, aren't you? You might leave a comment about things and share your experiences, and I think that's emotional regulation as well. So that's for, even though you don't think you're journaling, you can. I think sometimes on YouTube, on some videos, if it's related to emotional regulation or whatever, I think you're journaling. I think that's a good thing. How else can you? Well, I'll finish soon. Sorry with this. Emotional regulation is a big topic actually. Meditating can help. I need to do more of that myself, if I'm honest. Meditating, I think you can meditate through walking as well, if you prefer that way. I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. Sorry, it's a bit bright. And then also reading about stoicism, sorry, or reading personal help books, etc., etc. There's probably a lot more to this emotional regulation, which I've just discussed, but for today, that's enough, I think. So Sandra B, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. One moment. And what you're saying, I like walking and listening to meditation with my earphones in. Yeah, of course. Especially with the technology we have today. Obviously, you've got the earpods and then you've got something meditative in the background and you're walking in nature. That's really, it's going to really help calm the mind. Again, it's going to help with emotional regulation. Also, some people go to therapy as well, which can be a good thing. Some people can be scared. Therapy is not an easy thing, by the way, not at all, but it can be very beneficial. How do I regulate my emotions? Good question. Thank you, Sandra. One moment, I'm going to drink of water. I just recognize, I don't always recognize them straight away because if I'm busy, I might not notice. I might be too busy. And then it hits me and I feel it. And I think, oh, that's really made me mad. So I usually just talk about it with somebody. I talk about it and then I think about it. And then I'm honest with myself. And sometimes I think, actually, I'm really pissed off with what that person said. And then sometimes it's my ego kicking in. And I know it's my ego, but I'm aware that it's my ego, but it still feels bad. And then I just talk about it a little. I talk about it internally in my own head. I analyze it. I talk about it with someone I trust, and then I kind of like, if it annoys me for a while, I'll talk about it for a while. I will allow myself to be annoyed at it for a little bit, and then I just basically I go to the acceptance stage and accept it, and then I move on. Sometimes I find exercise helps me as well, and then obviously, and even sometimes, you know what, the person that said what they've said, I think it's good to, I don't always get this right though, but I need to be better at this to an extent, is talk to the person, oh, by the way, you said such and such a thing and it made me feel this way. What did you mean by that? And having that open and honest discussion with the person that could have pissed you off, for example. Obviously, not everyone's going to be open to that though. Some people won't be at all, but some people are. That can help as well. How else do I regulate my emotions? Good question. I think through, I don't know what else really, through reading as well. And through reading and through, I do a little bit of meditation as well, but I need to do more of that. And that's it really. But it all begins with being honest with yourself and being aware of the emotion that you're feeling. And then once you're aware of it, you can start to focus on it. But you do, I think though, sometimes though, if the emotion is really, really strong, it's happened. Imagine something happened 5 minutes ago that really made you angry. Regulating that emotion at that time, I don't think it's realistic. Not realistic, because it's too powerful and the emotions are very, very strong. I think you need to go for a walk or something, walk it off, get away, and let it. That emotion needs to come down before you can get to accepting stage and thinking it through. You need to just you have to give it a bit of time, I think. And that could be just venting to somebody and let them just listen. And another way you can help others is by just listening to them. Just listen to what they've got to say. Don't say anything. Let them vent. Let them burn. Let them get their emotions out. So yeah. So that's that. So right, I'm going to do a Q&A now. This is something that I think about. I'm trying to change. Let me just give me a minute. I'm going to engage. I'm starting a Q&A. And it's about, what's one moment, please? Sorry. I'm going to talk about modern day slavery. And I'm just going to ask the question. One moment. Let me type this in. Sorry, one moment. Actually, do you believe that you are a modern day slave? So we've moved on from the principles of Stoicism, obviously. Question mark. One moment, please. There we go. Do you believe that you're a modern day slave? Right. I'm going to start this off. I'm not. Yes, I think we are. A lot of people aren't quite aware of it, or a bit oblivious to it. But most people live paycheck to paycheck. You're only two payments away from being bloody homeless. You work, how much you think about in England. I'm not complaining, by the way. I'm not going poor me because I have a good life. I live in abundance. I'm very, very grateful for what I have. I have a nice life. I'm healthy, etc., etc. However, I'm just going to discuss this as well. But the reality is, in England, you are taxed around 21% on your wage. Everything that you buy is taxed. There's it could go on all day. Road tax, council tax, VAT, which is tax on every item that you buy. That's 20%. And once you've paid all your utility bills, TV license, which is a rip-off, etc., etc., water bills, utility bills, let's say, there's not much food bill, obviously paying for your food, and there's not much left. And I work as a full-time nurse in a theatre, operational theatre as a scrub nurse. And I do overtime every week just to make sure that I can do things. If I didn't do the overtime, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that I do. That's the truth. So yeah, do I believe that we are slaves? Yeah, we're modern day slaves. And some slaves are modern day slaves in the Western world are better paid slaves. That's what they are. So that could be your boss. Sometimes even a doctor who's on a lot more money, they're still in the system, still a slave to the system. How do you get away from that? Good question. That's another question I'm asking myself. So what's Sander saying? Thank you, Sander, for commenting. So I definitely feel like a modern day slave. I'm surrounded by people I don't like for 4 days a week, selling my labor and depending fully on the system. Absolutely. It badly affects my physical and mental health. I'm sorry to hear that. That's not nice. I can definitely understand. One moment, let's break it down. Yes, so you definitely feel like a modern day slave. I'm with you on that. I'm surrounded by people I don't like 4 days a week. Let me just turn this off. Yeah, because when you're working for a corporation, you're working full time. Obviously, it gives you a steady wage, steady income. You get holiday pay, etc., etc. You get some benefits. You get a pension for whatever that's worth. But you're going to be surrounded by people that you're not always going to like, and when you what I'm going to say then, when you've got your day set out and you look at who you're working with, you know if it's going to be good or bad. It's not the place, it's the bloody people. And some people they're not good people, they're not nice, they're not aware, they're nasty. You've got to set boundaries. Like being attacked all the time. It's bloody can be absolutely awful. So I can definitely emphasize with that. And what else are you saying? Selling my labor and depending fully on the system. Well, yeah. Do we grow our own food? No, we don't. Do we know how to grow our own food? On the whole, the majority of people have no bloody clue. I don't. You're selling your time. You give up. There's that film. What's that film called with Justin Timberlake? Is it On Time or In Time? But basically, it's about what do we do? You give up your time, part of your life, in exchange for money, and that money's taxed, mate. Taxed big time. So you don't have a lot left with slaves, mate. Big time with slaves. I don't want to think about this too much because it's going to make me feel depressed, and I don't mean to make people feel bad or anything. Just a reality check. My aim is to get away from this. Hopefully, this channel will help me achieve that. If I get subscribers and if I get monetized, let's say, that will help me steer me away from that. That's the intention. So anyway, lastly, sorry, Sander, I'm going off on a tangent. It badly affects my mental and physical health. Well, yeah, it can do because you're having to waking up in the morning as well. Imagine it's winter, it's cold. All you want to do is hibernate, don't you? And I think we do work, especially in England, we work a lot. It's a bloody rat race, and it can really grind you down, and physically and mentally, because you just some of these shifts that we do, I don't know what your shift patterns are, obviously, but if you do 12-hour days every day in a job you don't like, with people you don't like, but you've got to do it. You've no choice, because if you don't do it, you've no home, you've no food, you're homeless. That's the reality for a lot of people, and we're stuck in this system, this rat race, and we are absolutely agree. We are fully dependent on the system. The system has us by the balls. Sorry to that pun, but it's true. And a lot of people are in that situation. And I'm sorry, this sounds negative, but in my opinion, because I've watched I'm not saying I'm an expert on these things, but I think life is going to get harder. It's going to get harder in relation to people, finances and things like that. I think that's how it's going at the moment. But you've got to make the best of things, and then going back to trying to help you there, Sandra, a little bit, if I can. But having these things aren't going to solve everything, and it's easier said than done. Excuse me, I need some water. Having that Stoic mindset, applying Stoicism, self-awareness, and all these other things can help in life, I believe. But I completely empathize with you because I'm in it myself. I'm in it myself at the moment. But thank you for your comment. Good question. Right, so that's my thoughts on modern day slavery. I don't know what else to say about it, really. I don't want to stay, obviously, as well, with some of these things, I find it interesting, but I don't want to stay in that thought process for too long, because I think it can be it's negative, isn't it? Really, it's true, but it can be negative, which I don't think is a good thing, obviously. So, and also what you're saying there, sorry, I'll go back to Sam's comment, it badly affects my mental health and physical health. So that can lead to burnout as well. And it's how you manage those things. Maybe setting up your own business. Easier said than done. Setting up, and this is what I'm trying to do with this channel, set up my own business, create a community, create positivity, maybe do some e-commerce as well. I'm going to do that at some point. That's going to happen. I'm going to become monetized at some point, and I'm just going to do my best to create something positive and send that out to the world and share that with the world. That's what's happening. It's happening as we speak, slowly but surely, obviously. So anyway, thanks for your questions again, Sandra. I really appreciate them. Right, so we're going to move on to some positive affirmations, and then I'm going to reflect upon them. This one's a good one. This is Vex King, Good Vibes, Good Life, which is a book. It's a good book. Read it if you get the chance. And this is a calendar. I'm not going to show you I can't really see it on the camera here, but I'll try. Kind of, but not really. But it's a calendar, and each day has a different affirmation that you read. You open it in the morning, you read the affirmation. It gives you a little bit of a pick-me-up if you apply it correctly, let's say. So I like this one. This is actually from Friday, but I like it. Misery, this is it. So misery loves company. So don't try to match their toxic energy unless you want to match their emotional state and lifestyle too. So I'll repeat it again. Misery loves company. Of course it does. So don't try to match their toxic energy unless you want to match their emotional state and lifestyle too. So if you've got these in the workplace, they're chronically miserable. All they do is slag people off. They're toxic. They enjoy you ever meet those people where you're like, once you start talking about how shit everything is, their eyes light up and they're on it. They love it. That's what they feel most comfortable with. All this miserable bad energy or whatever you want to call it. And if you're gonna engage with, maybe sometimes you've got to engage with these people. Let's be honest, sometimes these people are your family as well or whatever, but you've got to engage with it to an extent. But you don't want to stay there for too long, because then you're going to become them, aren't you? Your energy is going to be affected by this. And if you're around people that are negative or not good people all the time, it's going to affect your emotional state and your lifestyle. You are who you hang around with. To be associated with success, not with losing. It's basically, what's that? Misery loves company. And there might be lots of psychological reasons why that person's that way. And yes, they couldn't seek help. But some of these people don't seek help. They don't want to. They'll never change. That's what they are. Basically, the losers. They're losers. They're not winning. They're losing. Do you want to be around losers? No, it's not for me. I don't hate these people. These people are nice people as well, but I don't want to be around it. No good. So don't engage with it. Don't engage with it too much, should I say? Let's be realistic. So I'm going to read today's, actually. Where is today's? Right. So another one this is for Sunday, which is obviously today, the 4th of May. So affirm, I'm intentional with how I nurture, manage, heal, and strengthen my relationships. So I'm going to repeat this again. Affirm, I'm intentional with how I nurture, manage, heal, and strengthen my relationships. So what does that make me think? Obviously, you need to, if you have a plant, you need to water it, don't you? If you don't water it, you don't nurture it, it's not going to grow. So to create positive relationships, you need to put something out there first. Absolutely, you need to put something out there first, and manage those things as well. And this can help you strengthen your relationships. Of course it can. Yes, I suppose I'm just doing like a casual reflection about this. It's just, I suppose it's just what you put into it. Yeah, sorry, that's all I've got to say on that. That's not very deep. But anyway, so I'm going to move on. I'll be closing this off soon, by the way. I've been going for 53 minutes. Next one. This next one is the well-being cards. They are basically, it's law of attraction. I'm just going to pick one out randomly without looking. There we go. Next one. So this one, let's have the next one. So this is the appreciation is the secret to life. Become a person who appreciates and you will thrive. You will fulfill your reason for being. It goes back to those Stoic principles, doesn't it? Appreciation is the secret to life, man. Appreciate what you have and you'll see the beauty in life. You'll appreciate things. You'll enjoy things. It'll make you feel so much bloody better. This will help you with your mental health always. That appreciation. And it's becoming that and I suppose becoming that as well. It's going to be, sorry, one moment. Becoming a person who appreciates. So I see that as making it into a habit, a good habit, and the habit of being appreciating things, having gratitude, and then obviously it's going to make you thrive, isn't it? It's going to make you do better. You're going to do better then. You have it gives you a better attitude, doesn't it? I suppose gives you a better attitude and a more fulfilled life. I think that's positive. So that's that. I'm going to end now. Sorry. I can only talk for so long. So last one. This is You Got This book. Powerful quotes, basically quotation. So let's randomly open it and choose. Know your worth. Know your worth. Yeah, absolutely. So this one, I'm actually going to read this one. Sorry. Being disappointed is one thing, and being discouraged is something else. I am disappointed, but I am not discouraged. So the last one I'm going to read now. Being disappointed is one thing, and being discouraged is something else. I am disappointed, but I am not discouraged. So let's break that down. Yeah, it's okay to be disappointed, but sorry, I'm trying to explain this the best I can. So reflect. I suppose, like, you could, being discouraged would mean like, oh, I give up. You're trying to do something and you give up. You're discouraged. Like, oh, I give up. There's no point. What's the point? And that's a bad thing. I think you should keep going. It's okay to be disappointed sometimes. Obviously, people will disappoint you. Circumstances will disappoint you. Things, shit happens, doesn't it? And you're going to be disappointed. You're going to feel upset about it. But you shouldn't be discouraged. Sometimes, imagine you've done your best. You've done everything you can. And then someone points out that you got something wrong and you feel so bad about it. You feel disappointed in yourself. But it doesn't mean that you should feel discouraged because you've done your best that day. You might have made a mistake, but don't be discouraged. Keep going. Just keep going. That's all I'm going to say for today because I'm running out of things to say. I'm really sorry I've carried on for a while there. If anyone watches this, thanks for watching. If you want to see more content like this, this is the 4th episode of the live vlogs. There's 3 other live vlogs, obviously, because this is a 4th. I do have other more punchy videos, which are sharper and a lot more. They're more edited than this. This is a free-flowing, casual conversation, obviously. So if you do want to check out my channel, Inspirational Ambivert, check it out. There's links on there if you want to watch any of my content, inspirational content, hopefully. If you can, like. If you can, subscribe. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a good week, a good life, and all that. Thank you for listening, and goodbye. I think that's enough for today. I'm just going to stop the video.